I'm Harl, and I've been teaching for probably 8 or 9 years.
What classes do you teach?
I do a little of everything. I have a Photoshop class and video technology class for 7th graders, so they do a little bit of graphic design as well as recording and editing videos. For 6th grade, I do general Google Docs, Google Slides, things like that. And then for 8th grade, I have a yearbook class. Over the years, I've taught a lot of other things, though, like marketing and stuff like that.
How many years of schooling did you take to become a teacher?
I didn't go about things with a normal teacher route where, you know, I wanted to do it all my life and went into school for it. Growing up, I was told I should be a teacher because people thought I'd be a good teacher, and I always thought they were crazy, and I didn't want to believe them. And I actually went to school to be in marketing, advertising, and graphic design, things like that. And then I ended up moving back home to Brush after I was done with college to try to see what I wanted to do, and then position in the schools opened up, and I went for it, got the job, and then that's where I kind of learned that I enjoy being around kids and helping them. And so I then took the process to become a licensed teacher. From there, had to do classes for that and things. So in all, that took about a little over a year, but it's a lot shorter than most people that do it the traditional way.
Why did you become a teacher?
For me, it's getting to interact with the kids, getting to see the growth. You know, I do middle school, so it's kind of, I think, the worst years for a student, just because they're growing up, their bodies are changing, they're doing all that stuff where they're not the little kids anymore that elementary-wise would be, but they're also not the grown high school kids, so it's kind of that weird area where they're kind of a wreck and they kind of need people more than ever. And you know, I kind of like getting to see them come in as little 6th graders, kind of new to everything, having to switch classes and all that, to being at the 8th grade continuation and seeing how far someone has come.
You're a wrestling coach also, right?
Yeah. How
long have you coached wrestling?
It's hard to count up all the years. I've kind of done it off and on. I mean, even after I graduated one year, for a year I stayed and helped coach, and then when I was in college, I would still come and visit and help coach when I could, maybe go to the meets. Officially with the middle school program, I started when the kids that graduated last year would have been 7th graders, I want to say, or actually no, when they were in 6th grade. So however many years that's been officially, I guess, with the middle school program.
Why did you become a wrestling coach?
I did wrestling when I was in middle school. I started in my 7th grade year, and in my opinion, it's one of, if not the greatest sport, just because, you know, you have so many individual aspects. It's you versus someone else, but you also have the team aspects of helping your team score points and things like that for duels and tournaments. It's one of those sports where you truly do get what you put into it. You can't really fault. I mean, you know, there are still ref issues and stuff at times, but basically you get out of it what you put into it. It teaches you responsibility because you have to make the weight and things like that. You can't just show up, eat what you want, and expect to still be able to compete. So you have to be responsible enough. And there's so many like life lessons. And when I started the sport, you know, I just did it in middle school just to do it like most of the kids do. And I just want to be able to get them to at least, even if they choose not to do it the next year or choose not to do it in high school or, you know, anything else, years, at least to learn to appreciate the sport in the way I have, and maybe even end up loving it. Like, it's helped me out in life.
Do you have any advice to give to wrestlers?
Yeah, I guess the biggest advice would be, you truly have to just invest in it 100%, because you can't blame it on anyone else. Like, you can't blame it on a quarterback not passing to you. You can't blame it on, the point guard or anything like that. This is just what you get out of it. And so I'd say to, put in as much effort as you can and truly get out of it, because you're your own weakness, basically. If you take a day off, that's a day someone else could be working hard. But then also learn to love the sport and those fun memories, because over the years I've had so many fun memories from coaching and when I was in school with wrestling too, that I think wrestling kind of gets you a different sort of family feeling than other sports would. So also work hard, but also learn to soak in the fun moments when you can.
What are some of your favorite parts about coaching wrestling?
I'd say is the memories that I've made. It could be anything from, seeing a kid come in 6th grade because now 6th graders can wrestle, seeing them never, stepping on a wrestling mat, never even knowing what a wrestling mat is, seeing the progress, either that season or in the future, maybe as 8th graders, if they, start winning matches, they start seeing that, oh, this is actually something I can do. The work I'm putting in is actually paying off, seeing that growth, but then also just fun memories from like when we would go to tournaments or when we would go to things like middle school state. I mean, I don't know if any other coach has ever been given a beta fish, but Roberto Gonzalez and Diego and Josue, when we were at middle school regionals and state one year, we were waiting to go eat at Buffalo Wild Wings, and they went over to a pet store and came back with a beta fish that they gave me that I in turn named Robeta Gonzalez in honor of Bert. And like I said, that's just one of those memories that you can't really expect to happen. It's not even really wrestling related, just the fact that we were there for wrestling, but it's one of those memories that I'm always going to have with me.
What is your motivation?
I think it's just to help people. For me, it's kind of, you never know if someone's having a bad day. Sometimes you're the only good thing that could be happening to them, and I think everyone needs to kind of just have a little bit of more kindness and motivation for that. If we could all help people be a little bit nicer, I think everything in the world would be a lot better place. And so, every day, even if I don't want to be here, sometimes just seeing a kid maybe not having a good day, I try to talk to them, help cheer them up a little bit. Sometimes that might be the only good thing that happens to them that day, or might help cheer them up. And I just think, that's what I'm here for. That's what I was kind of put in this world to do, is to help, I guess, motivate people and help make their days a little bit better if I can.
Do you think you inspire kids in both school and wrestling?
I want to think so. I mean, I feel like everyone wants to believe they do. I know I've had a few kids come back now that they're in high school and we're in the same building, and they've come and talked to me and told me, thank you for everything you've done and things like that. In the moment, I know they probably don't tell me. I think sometimes that's one of those things where you have to kind of look back on it and you don't want to admit maybe that someone motivated you or anything like that, maybe because it's not like the tough thing to do, and then once they look back on it, they realize it. And like I said, I don't do it necessarily for the motivation and inspiration. I just hope that I end up doing that, because then, when I'm one day gone, I'm hoping that those kids that I inspired and motivated will be able to pass it on to the next generation of students, wrestlers, or even if they're not coaching or teaching, just in their general lives, helping with whatever they can to help motivate kids and inspire them to do a little bit better even.
For my person of inspiration, I chose Harl. Harl has always pushed me to do better in school and to never give up when times get tough. He is always there for me when I need help with homework, have to vent, or even if I just need advice. Harl has always been supportive of me wrestling. He pushes me to want to get better, and he has helped build my confidence. Harl is always inspiring me, whether it's to do better in school, work harder in wrestling, or just to better myself.